Hey figure fans, Gil the Gilness here for 3 for 10 Toys, bringing you something very special. We're talking about the Tonka Supernaturals, but we're not just talking about regular old Supernaturals as you know them. We're talking about the unproduced second wave of Tonka Supernaturals. I'd like to thank Rod Hadley of Toy Hunters Hollow for providing these photos, and Chad Plouffe as well for one of the photos that we get into in just a minute here. Unfortunately, we don't know who the original photographer was or owner of these prototypes, so if these are yours, please come forward. Now remember, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends. Would greatly appreciate that. And we'll get on into everything here. So you see this first photo are the unproduced Wave 2 regular, I guess you call them basic figures. They're not so basic though, they have a lot of accessories. And if you can see, and we'll see in later photos, the shells for the figures compared to Wave 1 have been elaborated on. They actually look like people, faces. It's not just the hologram. And you'd still take the shell off to see the hologram, but it just looks a little bit more realistic as a person. And these are just prototypes, so the paint is, you know, a little off. It's not the final product by any means that was intended to hit shelves. Next photo here is a beast, I guess you'd call it, right? A beast or a vehicle, beast, playset. It appears to be a gigantic, like, I don't know, almost elephant-like creature. Yeah, it's got a trunk and tusks, but it's walking on 2 legs and appears to have hands as well. And in the middle, just like other Supernaturals, it looks like there is the hologram area. And up top, looks like one of the little guys from Wave 1 is riding on top. So he would be a pretty substantial figure still, even with the smaller original Supernaturals ghost guys riding on top there. And I'm sure you could probably put one of the regular size figures up there too, but it looks like he would be fairly decent in size. Too bad we didn't get that one. Then next up here, we have what looks to be 6 armed soldiers, maybe? And in the classic Supernaturals form, looks like they would have the shells, the plates that go over their chests, and maybe a helmet of some sort, and a shield with a hologram, and of course the hologram on the figure underneath the plate that you would take off. I don't know if this is intended to be 3 different figures or just 1, but either way, how cool a 6-armed Supernatural figure have been. Getting into the vehicles, Wave 1 had vehicles too. It's kind of weird for the Supernaturals, right? You'd think of them as more of a fantasy type of line, but they definitely incorporated more modern day vehicles too. And Wave 2 would have been no different, with a motorcycle with a sidecar too. So it goes a little further, motorcycle and sidecar. It looks like there might have been some holographic parts to that as well. So thanks to Rod once again for providing this photo, and also Chad Plouffe from Instagram who provided the photo to Rod. Next up here, we've got a full shelf of the actual Wave 2 unproduced figures. Looks like this is in somebody's collection, as far as I can tell, or at least on display at some sort of maybe museum. You can see the My Pet Monsters in the background there. But what's interesting here is there's actually a Centaur in the background there. That's kind of interesting. I'm assuming that would have been part of Supernaturals Wave 2, although I don't see any hologram effects on him. But you can see the figures once again. They have that full shell, looking more like an actual figure, not just a hologram figure with a chest plate. It's more of a realistic looking figure that you could then take the armor or the plate off to see the holograms. We get in a little closer here with this photo. There's a watermark on it. I can't quite make it out. It's just a little bit too light. Assuming that might be the owner of these photos, which we'd really, really like to find, because these are just fantastic and a piece of what never was and history of Supernaturals and also 80s action figures. Here's some more close-ups of the Supernatural figures and what they would have been in Wave 2. Again, some more close-ups. It looks like a lot of the characters would have been reused characters from the first wave, just improved with that better shell that we talked about. And that brings us to the end. What a great find of what could have been. It's sad that we didn't get these because they look like they would have been really, really awesome if they were completed and painted the right way. I think they would have done really well. Sadly, Tonka ended up not going with a Wave 2. They eventually, shortly after Supernaturals, sold to Hasbro, and Hasbro, of course, did not pick up the line of Supernaturals, which I think was a big miss, especially with Visionaries going on at the same time. They were both very popular. I think they could have capitalized on a Wave 2 of Supernaturals, because these would have been awesome. Once again, if these are your photos, please come forward and let us know so we can give you credit and spread the word, and maybe even talk to you to find out where you got these and what the expanded history is behind these prototypes. And who knows, in this day and age of retro 80s toys, maybe Nacelle or Loyal Subjects or Super 7, maybe one of those guys would pick up this line and deliver a second wave or something a little more retro modern. I certainly would be interested. For now, we've got these photos to look at, wonder what would have been. They definitely would have been really cool. Thanks for watching. Much appreciated. Please, as always, like, subscribe, tell your friends, spread the word about 3 for 10. We'll have more videos for you soon. Thanks, everybody.